Welcome, adventurers. Here's what happened last time on the Incorrigible party.
With a mob at her back, Shakara reunites with the party to make a hasty escape from the Knowledge Center, convincing them to return to the keep. Utilizing Isabella's network of portals, the party retreats to relative safety in a cave north of Goldham, where Falzarin quickly discovers that Allamar's soul still resides inside of his eagle-headed cane, their fates now intertwined.
And now, on with the show.
I think John can roll me a d10.
Uh-oh.
All right. That's bad. That's my favorite die.
That's why I picked you, buddy.
5, right in the middle.
Okay. Decidedly average.
You all
That's what I call him.
huddled, you set up in the... Oh, man. You set up in this Lehman tiny hut for a long rest. And you all wake up in the morning to the sound outside of falling rain, as John did roll a 5 on the weather table.
Yeah.
Weather! And you've woken in the middle of a rainstorm outside. But you have now all benefited from a long rest. And, as the 8 hours expend, the tiny hut disappears, its effects utilized and complete.
New year, new weather table.
Woo! Start off big. It feels like this is the start of chapter 3 because we haven't played in forever.
Doesn't it? We finally got a long rest.
Roll over and say, "Morning, Falzarin. Morning, Allamar."
Good morning, Shaft. Thank you for the reminder.
Slava, again, waking up with you, he kind of turns to all of you. He seems to be, ready to get up and go. He gets to his feet. It is time I rejoin my people. If we are to aid you in the battle with the Neogi, then they need to be properly informed.
That seems fair, Slava. I thank you for your help, and I wish you safe travels.
How can we contact you again?
Yeah, you plan to help us.
The weapons still concern me. But if you say they are to be taken inland and used against what seems to be a greater threat, my people will find it acceptable to allow that to happen. But I would like your assurances, should the time arise where the weapons need to be dealt with, you will still aid the Tritons?
Of course.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Slava. I will not forget all the Tritons have done over the years to protect Aspara.
That pleases me. And Slava pulls from his... What did he say he wears? His marsupial pouch. Pulls out a little stone. A small little stone. It's about the size maybe of a silver dollar. And it kind of has this, very bland, plain face carved into it. It's like the profile of a face. And he hands it to you, Falzarin. Take this sending stone. I shall retrieve its pair. And with it, we will have limited contact.
That's perfect. Thank you, Slava.
Gives you a nod. And he walks out the door to this cave. And again, as he swings it open, the sounds of the rain kind of magnifies with the open door. And he steps out and disappears into the storm.
Swims away.
He's going to have a long walk to water.
Yeah, I don't think he knows that yet.
It's alright, he's got a very fishy morning breath. It's fine.
Dreg, this whole kind of discussion, as the weapons were brought up, you can see him kind of start again. He does that spinning of the ring on his finger. We are not actually going to turn over the weapons to the paladins. That seems to be what we've decided. I'm still against that.
Why?
They were not meant to be. They should not exist.
There are many things that should not exist, and yet do, and have brought joy to the world.
I assure you, these will not bring joy to anybody.
Drag, I do think that we need to think very carefully about what we do, because these Neogi, I can talk to you more about them, but we really could use these weapons against the Neogi. They come from the sky. What else can shoot that far up into the sky?
They are not in the sky currently. They are here on the ground with us. If these paladins are set to fight them, destroy them, their numbers are vast.
How far can those weapons shoot?
Miles, Isabella said.
Well, let's talk about what we know. These Neogi things. What do we know about them? And I look at Falzer and I go, we know they have these... They live in the caves in the Vorgrag Mountains, right? They have these eggs type things that we burned. Remember that, Falzarin?
I certainly do.
And what do you guys know about these things?
They are no longer confined to the mountains. I have seen them as far as Pisces.
I think we know that they can control minds, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
They take people and they mind control. If they're under the spell or under the influence of the Neogi, they'll usually have a tattoo on their forehead. Have you guys ever ran into anyone like that?
Yeah. We tried to fool them with that. I think it worked a little bit, but so before we go hauling ass into these Neogi, maybe we need to figure out a way to protect ourselves from being mind controlled.
Do any of you know any way to do that?
Can I make perhaps an Arcana check or history or whatever you think is appropriate to see if Falzarin would have read about a way to girt yourself from mind control?
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check.
I made a deal with a Neogi a year ago. About then, when I found them in the mountains by Barrack. They said they would stay away from Barrack. That was the plan. I would let this guy live and they would stay away from Barrack.
Do you trust that?
I don't know if I trust it, but because there's been so much going on this week, I haven't even gotten in touch with my parents. All these sending spells, I mean, I would have used it on Grimby before my parents, right?
I mean, you said these things are here to take over the land, right?
They're here to take over because they were forced out of their land, yes.
Yeah, okay, we'll find another place as far as I'm concerned, but... So they're here, they're trying to take us over.
They're mostly taking over orcs, from what I could tell.
I certainly wouldn't think they're gonna stop at Barrack.
I have a contact. I mean, his name's Horik. He could maybe tell us more about...
You know Horik?
Yeah, Horik. It's a guy that I ran into. He was under the spell, and...
What do you know about Horik?
I met Horik. I met him in a tavern. I was in Altenshik, and he was telling me that the last thing he remembers was being in the mountains in a battle. And then some guys he was fighting had the tattoos. And, I mean, he doesn't remember anything, but he also has no sense of how long ago it was or any sense of time. And Horik was helping me try to track down these Neogi, and I was letting Hannah know about it. Hannah's this person in Drukal. I don't know. You're from Drukal. Maybe you've heard of Hannah?
I've heard the name.
Okay. Well, Hannah said, it's fine, don't worry about it. A deal's been made. Whatever that means.
A deal with the Neogi?
Yeah, she wasn't worried about the Neogi.
Well, I tell you what, maybe one thing we need to do is find this Horik person you're talking about.
I mean, it sounds like Horik lost a really long, maybe years of time? I don't know. He was very confused about how much time he lost being under that spell.
It's not going to help us if we all go into the Neogi and they mind control all of us, then they'll do with us as they please, right?
I mean, he took me north of Drukal. He took me up there, and, there were no more tribes. They're all gone. The orcs are just... Who knows? The Neogi took over the mountains. We need to be very careful going to the Vorgarag Mountains.
Yeah, we do. It's not a safe place.
Yeah, and that was 6 months ago, too, so a lot could have changed.
Anybody have any thoughts on how to approach this?
Falzarin, what was your Arcana check?
17.
You definitely know that you could certainly find some type of protective ring or other magical item that could potentially offer you some type of shielding from psychic effects, maybe even psychic damage itself, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Obviously, I know that Falzarin doesn't have any spells that would work for that, so it's probably going to be a magic item that would offer protection.
Correct.
To the wearer and not necessarily the wearer's party.
Correct.
Well, in all of my studies, to the best of my knowledge, there are occasionally, rings, amulets, these sorts of things that have magic bestowed upon them that could offer the wearer or the carrier some protection from psychic effects, but I don't have access to any magic that could protect all of us, and I don't have anything like that.
Sounds like we need to make a trip to magic.
Yes. I don't know. We certainly need to be careful whatever we do. We're going to be vulnerable to these Neogi unless we have some form of protection.
I really would like some supplies.
Shakara, you say you've seen them as far as Pisces.
Yes. They were transporting the Neogi in the back of wagons from Altenshik to Pisces.
So that is their mode of spread.
The mothers are transported, and as soon as the babies are born, they disperse.
Yes, Drake, I've killed wagons full of bloated hatchlings and mothers ready to give birth to these Neogi. They travel in wagons, usually driven by orcs that are under their spell.
Not just orcs.
Not
I
just
have seen
orcs.
humans and elves.
Oh, wow. I've only seen orcs.
If they're as widespread as you say, then what good could these weapons really do against a widespread enemy? There's no focal points to target with them. How much can they really offer?
I agree, but the prospect of thousands, perhaps millions, that are maybe en route as we speak to Aspara from other places across the wide open space. My goodness, can you imagine if there are these ships that Mia described traveling with a legion, many legions? Aspara would stand no chance.
So, what's this gauntlet gonna do to take these guys out? Shakara?
I do not know. That is why I suggested we look at it before we turn it over.
I can certainly do my best to identify this buckler and see exactly what it does.
Falzarin, anytime you try to identify something, it ends up haunting you. Remember the cane?
Oh, I remember.
Like it was yesterday.
Like
Yes,
it was yesterday.
like it was yesterday, Shakara.
I can't understand why you're not on board with this. This can't be a good idea. I'm responsible for these. I cannot be responsible for the potential destruction that cultists could use them for.
You are not responsible for these
I
weapons.
am responsible, Shakara.
Alstaff is.
He may play a part, but I've played mine.
You played your part in defending Heraklion. Alstaff is the one that turned them into weapons. And we should make the best use of what he has done to pervert your creations.
It is a perversion.
Right now, we can figure out how we can protect ourselves from these Neogi. We can maybe stop by Drakal to get something from magic, maybe find out a little more information. Then head to the Vorgrag Mountains and take me to this Horic guy. Maybe he can tell us a little bit more, since he's been involved with this for a while.
I do think Hannah might know. I mean, she knows a lot of the in and in, In and out. Anyway,
Yeah.
she might know where this armor is.
I think I know somebody that knows Hannah. And I may be able to get some information.
I know Hannah.
On a personal level.
Yes, I do. I was warning her about these Neogi.
Well, then maybe you can talk to her.
And what of Grimby? Is he safer where he is now?
I don't think he's a threat to anybody, and I don't think anybody's looking for him. He's not in any danger. Hopefully Janella has him and he'll be okay.
I believe Janella is preoccupied with her elder duties.
Well, if she's in with the crowd there, then he's going to get great treatment, right?
I do feel a certain amount of guilt that we never followed through with our plans to heal him of his affliction.
You are concerning yourselves with one man now? With all of what's at stake?
Drag, I gave him my word.
I understand, and I know the importance of that. And I believe me, I know how you feel. When there's something you've set to do, you must do it. Dreg makes direct eye contact with you, Shakara. Deep sorrow in his eyes. I cannot allow my weapons, my anchors, to fall into the hands of a group of moralless mercenaries. The potential destruction. I cannot allow it. And he recites an incantation, teleporting himself away.
I do not know what will become of Dreg.
It's hard to say, but I do understand where he's coming from. He has vowed to protect his creation in the way that he sees fit. I mean,
I hope he does not stand in our way.
well, we're gonna go the other way, right? Is that still the plan?
Yes, I know that Dreg is a good man. His intentions, I think, lie in the right place, but yeah, I agree, Shakar. I really hope that...
riddance to him.
I believe he is being very short-sighted. Allamar, silence!
Offering anything to the situation.
Would you muffle your bag, Falzarin?
Falzarin, remove me from the bag. I have been pondering.
Do we care what Allamar has to say?
I do not care at all.
Goodness.
Do we feel Allamar has any wisdom to add to the situation?
Not at this point.
Nope.
You know, Allamar and I have never seen eye to eye, but he does occasionally have some wise perspectives. I reach into the bag and reluctantly pull out the cane.
Thank you, Falzarin. I find myself in my current state no longer needing sleep. Gives me much more time to think. I've come to a conclusion, Falzarin, that perhaps you and I need to broker a truce. I have a suggestion of how to deal with your revenant problem. To rid you of him, and to excise him of my body.
I certainly am open to suggestions, Allamar. What do you propose?
It may take a small amount of effort on your part. Nothing that your companions couldn't handle. You, I'm not so sure.
Falzarin shakes his head.
Simply need to temporarily trap his soul. Put it into your bag of holding. Destroy it. And send him adrift to the astral sea.
That sounds complicated.
In my library, I did have the scrolls to achieve the trapping of his soul.
That's very interesting, Allamar. You wouldn't happen to be describing a spell called Soul Cage, would you?
Yes, actually, I'm astonished the breadth of your knowledge. I did assume you were a little more focused, given the district that you live in.
I try to be a well-read wizard, Allamar, despite your misgivings about whether I am or not. Well, I think that's a great potential solution. Perhaps our travels will lead us back there, and we can look for that scroll. I appreciate you illuminating us with this avenue we could pursue.
And in the meantime, you will allow this Sardo magician to pursue you relentlessly, to perhaps be vanquished over and over, only to reappear once again.
Well, he'll eventually come to us, right?
That's true.
That is his nature, yes.
And then when his soul's vanquished, then you just get your body back, right?
Wait,
Yes,
so
ideally.
And then go do your lich thing then, right?
I will go to once again ensure Heracleon's safety.
So that's the other side of the deal that you're proposing, Allamar, is that we use this spell to deal with Sardo, the magician, and you get his body.
I get my body.
Right, your body.
I mean, let's face it, Sardo's annoying, but we've killed him a number of times. He's just sort of a bother, really. But can you offer more than just, I mean, you're looking for immortality for us to just get rid of this dude. How about sweetening the deal a little bit, Allamar?
What do you propose?
Well, we need to keep from being mind-controlled on this Neogi. Let's start there. What can you do for us?
Again, in my current state, not very much.
Do you have an accountant to call? Can we go to Magic and put it on your tab?
I'm afraid monetary means are not what I have at my disposal.
I look at Falzer and go, why don't we sleep on this?
question. When he traps Sardo's soul and puts it in his bag of holding, what happens to Danzig? Does Sardo just go into Danzig's body?
Who is Danzig?
You probably saw him in there.
He's your neighbor.
It's not all that consequential, Allamar.
But also, you have to destroy your whole bag of holding? We put so much stuff in that.
Once the bag is pierced or torn, its contents are cast to the astral plane. In addition to Sardo's soul, should it be held within.
I never knew that. Falzer, how have... No wonder you blink every time we fight. Precious cargo. Danzig on board.
I'm sure one of my many pupils on Heracleon could arrange for a replacement, in addition to some mind-shielding artifacts.
Ooh.
You've got my attention, Allamar.
Yes, you are holding the cane a little tightly.
Oh, gosh. Mind-controlling artifacts. How do I know you're not lying about these artifacts? How do we know they exist? I've never heard of such things.
Falzern himself has knowledge of their existence as well. You're not simply taking me at my word.
So now we gotta go back to Heracleon to get this stuff to be able to deal with Neogi? I'm looking at everybody.
If we are going back to Heracleon, we can check on Grimby, too.
Dear God, we just left that godforsaken island.
I'm with you, Shaft. I'm over it.
Is Heracleon safe?
Ish.
No.
Ish.
No.
Ish.
I shall be frank with you, Falzarin. Unfortunately, your survival is paramount to my own. Should you perish, the cane discarded, I am discarded along with it.
I got an idea. Shakara, why don't you go talk to Isabella, have her go get these artifacts that we need. It's in her best interest. We're going to get the gauntlet for her. Have her pop through one of her portals and bring it to us. If we're going to make deals with the devil, we might as well go all in.
I have no way to contact Isabella, and she would not do as I bid anyway.
Look at Mia. Can you send her a message?
I mean, yeah.
She's got access. We need this stuff. We can't get this done. We can't get rid of Allamar until we do so.
So we just keep Allamar stuffed in the bag and get the artifacts he just told us about ourselves?
Surely an arrangement outside of the bag could come to. It is unpleasant in there. Now that I know what the smell is.
Something's fishy in here.
Isabella is a woman of many means. She has far-reaching power and resources. I would warn you not to associate with her as much longer than needed.
You are sounding a little more wise than I thought before.
I would rather not owe her any favors.
How do you think she'd feel if she found out you were in that staff there?
That is a ponderous question.
Well, you gave her the status she has. You're the one who made her an elder.
I made her something less than my equal at the time it suited me to do so.
What did you get out of that deal? What did she give you?
She gave me what you've destroyed, the ingredients and the ability to create my elixir. Now I have nothing, and she, by the sounds of it, has everything.
So she means nothing to you really at this point.
My business with her is complete.
Good. Maybe we just keep this Allamar thing in this room. Agreed?
That is fine with me. Allamar, I have a question for you. What is so special about Heraklion? I know there is a power there.
Yes, there is. A power that the Zelwicks have protected for thousands of years. A power that, should others discover it and how to utilize, could be disastrous. I hope you're beginning to understand, Falzern, the severity of my actions and why they are necessary. There are powerful beings that long ago were imprisoned by my ancestors, harnessing the power of Heraklion. In time, we decided to create a school there, as peoples of all walks were drawn to its power. It seemed easier to welcome them there than to try to erect a wall and keep them out. Does Isabella seek this power?
Erica knew of the power. Isabella knows there is something there. She does not know what.
Hey, do you know what this gauntlet thing is she's looking for?
I do not.
Can you tell us anything about the towers or our Samuel cultists, or fill us in on any of that information?
Unfortunately, I do not have dealings with the paladins. They do not come to the island. And the island is my only concern.
This is a lot to think on, Allamar.
So what is this power? Isabella doesn't know. Tell us. We can make sure she doesn't get that information.
If he tells us, she may get it. One way or another, she may get it out of us.
Okay, we checked you. You don't have a scabulet.
By what means do you speak of, Shagara?
She is not one to shy away from torture.
This is true, Shikara. I believe that she...
Enjoys hurting people.
Yes, she is not afraid of using whatever means necessary.
And yet you ally yourself with her, Shagara?
Not exactly.
Not super willingly, just like we don't want to make you a lich. It's all just sort of,
Well, let's not get too hasty here, Allamar. Are you saying if we get you your body back that you might be able to take care of this Isabella problem for us then?
If she has aspirations of my island, that cannot be.
She does.
Allamar, who else knows about this power?
With the death of the other elders, only I. I am the last Zelwick in Aspara.
No one ever wanted to marry you? I'm just kidding.
Well, let's not put the guy down. I mean, hell, he's in a bag. I sort of look around at everybody in the room, and I'm like, this sounds like a good option to me right now. Wink.
I wink back at Shaft.
I think we're in, Allamar.
Well,
I guess so.
good.
How do you propose we use this soul cage spell? It is not a spell I'm familiar with, Allamar.
It is quite simple, really. Upon the Revenant's death, the spell will trap the soul once it leaves my body. Temporarily, of course. You will need a few material components, however.
Great, now he tells us.
A physical cage in which to trap the soul, that is all.
Well, yeah, you said the bag of holding, right?
No. The cage will serve as the vessel. The bag of holding will serve as the portal, you could say, to send the vessel with the soul to the astral plane.
It is very ingenious use of the spell, Allamar. I've read of it, I've never cast it myself and never spent time to learn it myself. But I suppose I could try my hand at it.
I just hope it is not beyond your abilities.
I think when we're ready, it'll be easy enough to get Sardos to come here.
Right.
I mean, technically, Shakara could go back through the portal, let him know where we are, and we can ambush him. But I don't think we do that just yet, because we still have some other things to do, and having Allamar in a sack is really to our advantage at this point. First thing we need is the artifacts.
Right. And I know Shaft has mentioned going to magic. I am running low on supplies. Before we go off adventuring.
Allamar's got the artifacts that we need. They're back in Heraklion. Who has access to everything in Heraklion? I look at Shakara.
Isabella.
Does she have potions? I really want a few potions.
I suggest maybe you go back to Heraklion, get what we need, give her some information to get her on trusting you and more on her side, and that'll help me trust you even more.
What information do you suggest I let her know?
We need to find out what the gauntlet's supposed to do. We need to get the artifacts to be able to protect our mind from the Neogi.
What information do I let her know?
Tell her that you're traveling along with us, and you're going to give her any information that she needs. Then when we're ready, you tell her to send Sardos to kill us.
Any information. I tell her that I'm traveling with you.
Yes.
And then send Sardo to kill you.
You're traveling with us to help you get the gauntlet.
It is counterproductive to have Sardo kill you then.
After you get the gauntlet, you're going to call her to let her know that Sardos to come and kill us. Then we trap Sardos, put him in a bag, let Allamar come back, and he can go kill
I have no way
Isabella.
to call her.
She can send a message
Sure,
to her.
I can, Shaft, but you're saying to call after we get the gauntlet, which is not true because we need the artifacts for mind control before.
She don't call her. You go through the portal. Right there.
Why is Isabella in league with the Revenant?
Probably to her advantage, to kill us off.
The Revenants were following Erica, and then we killed Erica. The Revenants really just want to kill Falzarin and Shaft. From what I...
Falzarin more than me.
So
Oh, okay.
Isabella wishes Falzarin and Shaft dead then too?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I'm not
No.
so sure.
Isabella means no harm to them, but she would not stop another.
And with all due respect, we have a little bit of a history with Isabella.
It sounds so, yes.
She'll take us out in a heartbeat.
She is indifferent to you. She does not care about you.
Well, she should care, because I could take her down.
Tell you what, if we would have stayed there in the keep, we would have been dead and she would have watched Sardos kill us.
Yes. She would not have killed you, though. Sardo
Oh.
would have. That is my point.
That's irrelevant. She wouldn't stop him.
Correct, but she would not kill you herself. There is a difference.
However you want to twist
Listen,
it.
it sounds like we've all agreed to help Allamar, to kill Sardos, trap his soul, yada yada. Shaft and Shakara, it seems like you still have things to work out about your plan.
I think the plan's very simple. I don't know why you're arguing about it.
Well, what I'm saying is, the planning doesn't really involve me. I'm here to help support whatever we choose.
I'm asking if you guys think that that's a good plan. She trusts you, and I pointed Shakara. You could go back, get the artifacts that we need to protect ourselves from the Neogi. Do we all agree that's important?
It feels
Yes.
like we're using
Yes.
Shakara as a double agent.
That's exactly what we're
Yes,
doing.
but what if she's found out?
She's not going to be found out.
How do you know that?
Isabella trusts me as much as I trust her.
Exactly.
Which is to say,
Which is nothing.
very little.
I do not see why we trust you, Shakara. Being aligned with Isabella. I heard the talk of the Coven.
Wasn't it out of necessity, though, Shakara? We
It
left
was.
you.
Out of necessity.
Exactly. We left her, Shaft.
That's right. So Sardos didn't kill us.
I am willing to go back to Heraklion and see if I can procure some items for us. I have no problem with that.
I do not
Good.
want Shakara's demise on my conscience.
I do not think Isabella would harm me.
Why
Okay.
should she? She doesn't even want to hurt us, according to you.
I do not trust her, though.
That's even better.
I suppose we would just be waiting in the meantime.
I was about to say, what are we gonna do then, while she's gone?
Would I not need Allamar and Falzarin's assistance?
Yes, I was going to suggest at the very least I could come, perhaps make myself invisible if need be, and be there should you need help.
I would prefer to not talk to Isabella and to only talk to Allamar's people and get the items we need that way.
Well, then try to avoid
Like
her.
I said before, I would rather not owe any favors to Isabella.
Then just go get the artifacts. Allamar, where are the artifacts?
You need to find a man named Mullen. He studied very attentively under my watch. He's very powerful in his own regard.
Mia just shakes her head. It's so easy for you, Shaft, to put someone else in front of the line of fire. You told Drake to leave her. She ends up joining a coven, then you end up being mad that she joined a coven? What other choice did she have?
Mia, it is fine. It will all work out in the end.
I thought we're all in this together, right?
We are.
Yeah.
We're all trying to work to our best strengths, right?
Sure, so what do
Yes.
we do while
I
Falzarin and Shakara
can get you
leave?
through the Volgrag Mountains. She can get the artifacts that we need. Falzarin can take care of Allamar. We're working to our strengths. She, and I pointed at Shakara, can get the stuff that we need so I can take us where we need to go. Do I need to put it on a piece of paper for you and draw pretty pictures?
Falzarin, will you aid me with this?
Yes, I will, Shakara.
You are much more familiar with the island than
You
I.
gonna stick me with him? Point at Shaft.
I look
am
over
sorry,
at
Mia.
Falzarin and I say, "Hey, Allamar, if you go back to the island, will she be able to tell that you're, in the sack?"
I do not believe so. I will agree to remain silent.
That would be a first.
If it increases our chances of success.
Well, Mia, you're certainly welcome to come along as well if you'd prefer, but it is up to all of you who is with this group that goes back.
Well, up until yesterday, when I heard about the Neogi, I'd be willing to go back there and take on Isabella myself right now.
My only concern is Sardos is there. And if he sees you or me, he's going to try to kill us.
I don't even think he needs to see you to know you're there.
That's what I'm saying. Falzarin goes back. Bad idea.
I can protect him.
But then we lose the element of being able to trap him and take care of the Allamar thing.
Falzarin and I should be able to remain unseen. Get to where we need to go. Perhaps check on Grimby and make our way back.
If you take Falzarin with you, it certainly seems like you're risking his life.
I believe I can protect him.
He is quite fragile.
I don't think it's worth
He
it.
is a cockroach. He will survive.
Are you saying that you can't go back and get these artifacts without help?
No.
Take Mia.
I'll go with you. I don't think Falzarin going is a good idea. The Revenant will know he's there. Plus, I promised I would heal Grimby. If we find Grimby, I can heal him.
If you're going to choose to go with somebody that's going to kick some ass, it's going to be Mia.
Silence!
No!
Mia.
Alright, let's go. Sick of hearing Shaft
Okay, I'll-
talk too, so.
Walk over to the portal and activate it.
Okay.
I'm not saying the damn activation word again.
Kumquat.
That's fine. Okay, so I guess we'll split up for a second. I'll take John and Bill. Shakar and Mia step through the activated portal, through the red glowing rectangle, and the wall solidifies behind them, leaving Shaft and Falzarin alone with the cane.
Are they gone?
Yeah.
Yes, they've went back to Heraklion.
Tell me, what do you know of Shakar's connection with Isabella? What is truly going on there?
Well, to the best of our knowledge, based on what Shakara has told us, which is our only source of information, when we left her alone, she was faced with the difficult decision, or the difficult situation of having to ally and join this coven with Isabella and her sister. Apart from that, I don't know what other strings were attached or what she agreed to. Isabella wants her to go on this quest to fetch this piece of armor, magical armor. I don't know past that.
Yeah, I'd say it's a good deal as long as she's on our side. But I have yet to know if I can trust her or not.
I do not understand why Shakara would want to join the coven.
Power. As with everybody that joins a coven.
She is power hungry. Simple as that.
More than likely. I mean, why else would you join up?
I really don't know. I was hoping, and I had imagined that perhaps she was in a similar situation that I was in, where Isabella put her in a situation of choosing between bad or worse. And bad was joining the coven. Who knows what worse could have been.
If that's the case, then we have nothing to worry about. She's on our side.
The concern I have is of Isabella's intent with the island's power.
Well, yes, she's certainly drawn to this island for reasons as yet unexplained.
I have suspicions concerning those reasons.
Well, I would imagine with the knowledge you have of the power that this island holds, you would be in a better position to know why someone would be interested in controlling the island.
Care to fill us in?
The island itself serves as a type of trans-dimensional intersection. It makes it incredibly easy to travel from plane to plane, to summon creatures of vast power to Aspara.
And why would anybody want to do that?
Long ago, when Zelwix locked away those powerful beings we swore that we would never allow them to return. The destruction, the war between Dendar, the Serpent Mother, and Father Limerick, the destruction, inconceivable. If Isabella wishes to enable their return, then that is a far more pressing issue than these insects in the mountains.
Is there a way to stop it?
And how would you do it? Surely she's going to need some powerful magic or powerful items.
Yes, she will, and there are corresponding items for both entities. Depending on which one she intends to free, will depend on what we're looking for.
Well, let's just take a stab in the dark here and take a 50-50 shot and say it's Dendar.
I do hope it is Father Limerick. I personally believe Dendar is the worst of the two.
Well, plan for the worst, right?
I do have reason to suspect that Isabella has a connection to Dendar.
Then things are as dire as I thought. She will have to procure the eyes of Dendar. They were lost to my family long ago. We separated them, hid them, hoping to never have them uncovered.
So, you don't know where they are, or you do know where they are?
I do not know.
Do you know how we can find out?
There are records in my private library. Assuming Isabella has not found them herself.
And just for sake of understanding, what if it's Father Limerick?
Then you will need to find the scythe of Limerick.
Any idea where that's at?
Its blade separated from its handle and scattered.
Would there be any mention of it in these records in your study, Allamar?
There would, and they would be encoded. Of course, I can translate them.
Well, Falzarin, I think we know where this is going. How do you think Shakar is gonna act if we say we're gonna get these eyes of Dendar?
Oh, Shaft. Everything is turning upside down over and over again.
I mean, at this point, do we say anything about it?
I'm honestly a bit wary of telling Shakar about this, now that the stakes are so high.
I think we're on the same page here. Let's keep it under our hat, and Allamar, keep it in the bag, and we'll figure out as we go along if we can make this work out. But apparently we're going to have to go back to the damn library.
Yes, it would appear that way. My conscience certainly will be set much more at ease if I'm able to see that Grimby has been restored to his prior self, but we shall see if we cross paths with Grimby or not.
All in due time. Somebody's got to build a Rising 4. He's got time.
Is there something that the two of you may want to start or do? Or are you just gonna kind of basically be resting here for the day? Or, I mean, again, I'm not entirely sure how much time you will be spending here yet, but
Right.
Could I try to replicate the use of the door that I've seen and heard Shakara do?
yeah, you want to try to recite the activation word?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait. If you do that... Or, sorry, you saying you're going to do that, or are you just going to do it? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to...
I will, before I do it, explain to Shaft my idea. So, yeah, Shaft, I've seen what Shakara has done with this door, and I've heard the word that activates it. We could try to follow them back to Heraklion.
So you want to go invisible, you and I, go through the door, and then try to go down to the library, get the information we need before They even know we're gone. That way Shakara's none the wiser.
Yeah, that's an option. Like you said, we're going to have to deal with Sardo, but
Yeah, we're gonna have to make it quick.
that's right. What do you say?
I'm in.
Okay. So I will try that and see if I'm able to be successful in activating this portal.
Wait. Pass without a trace. Cast it on both of us. Invisibility before we go through. Let's not wait to the other side.
Yeah, that's probably it. Well, I'll wait to cast invisibility until I can see if I'm actually successful in activating this portal, because that's a spell slot I don't want to burn if I don't have to.
That does make sense. Uttering the activation word, the same effect that you've witnessed when Shakar activates it, the shifting in the stone within the wooden frame, crumbling and disintegrating, and the activation of the red glowing rectangle contained within, you seem to have activated it.
All right. I will cast invisibility on the both of us and step through.
I follow.
As you both step through, you step through as if to find like that same hallway, you know, the plain polished stone with the doors spinning and swirling as if you had too much to drink, trying to get to sleep, and the room is just out of control until it finally reasserts itself. The spinning stops, and you are in this long 30-foot hallway surrounded by 6 doors.
All right, I will go towards, I guess, the direction that I remember coming from. Try and retrace the path that we took and go to the door that I would assume is the door that originally brought us into this hallway.
Made very difficult by the disorientation, of course, on your arrival, the spinning of the room. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a d6?
It's a 3.
Right down the middle.
As you grasp the knob and open it, the room around you dissolves, and you're almost like, you can't just really, it doesn't really activate like a normal door, right? It's like as you're opening it, you are almost ushered through it. And the two of you find yourselves in a large open room, about 40 feet by 40 feet. It's kind of a square shape, completely constructed of wood. Roughly 20 feet above you, suspended in the air, is a collection of gears and mechanisms rotating and whirring and grinding against each other. But housed in the very center of it, almost as if the whole construction is built around it, is this metallic sphere. And to your left, encompassing the majority of the wall, is what looks like the inside of a clock face.
And that's our show. If you're not already, be sure to follow us at Incorrigible Par on Twitter, Incorrigible Party on Instagram and Facebook, and you can go to incorrigibleparty.com for world lore and PC information, and we've recently started adding some maps there as well. Incorrigible Party is generously sponsored and made possible by Critical Hit Design. For any of your design needs, visit criticalhitdesign.com. All ambient sound and music is provided by Tabletop Audio, and our intro and outro music was created by Josh Jarvis. You can reach him at jamesmercymusic@gmail.com. Happy adventuring!